Everybody's all right, so.
Was there a person
And it
inside?
wasn't our guys'
Keep doing
fault.
it until we say we can't.
That's
didn't we?
good.
It wasn't our fault.
Was there a person inside they were transporting or just a judge?
They were on their
This meeting is being recorded.
Alrighty, 7:01 p.m. We'll begin the meeting. We'll make sure my microphone's on. 7:01, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could all please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, we will call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Von Crooks?
Here.
Benedetti?
Here.
Kiabawatten?
Present.
LaFever?
Present.
Pate?
Here.
Perugi?
Here.
Rizeppa?
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item we've got here is a minute approval of the July 19th, 2021 meeting.
So moved.
It has been moved. Do we have support?
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got public comment regarding items on today's agenda. Again, this portion of public comment will be limited solely to items that are on today's agenda, with an additional public comment period coming at the end of the meeting, as well for all other items. For those wishing to speak on any agenda items now, if you could, if you're using the Zoom function, use the raise hand feature. Depending on the software you're using, that might be either under participants or reactions and then raise hand. We'd ask that you begin with your name and address, that you direct all questions through me, and that you limit your questions, your comments to 5 minutes, please. I'll see, do we have anyone, any hands up for public comment here? Seeing none, we'll move right on along here. So next up, we've got bid openings, City Hall front entrance upgrade contract number 2020-01.
Okay, thank you. The city engineer had a advertisement for bids, And we had a bid opening scheduled for Tuesday, July 27th, and at that time, we had 2 bids turned in, so we were unable to open them up at the bid opening. And so then I would like to,
Yeah, I think we need a motion to authorize the clerk to open proposals. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
all right. So the first bid is from GV Cement Contracting. And they do have a bid bond included. Let's see. Okay, it looks like their bid is in the amount of $247,000. $247,000. Okay. The next bid is from Dominic Gallio Construction. And their bid is in the amount of $202,600. And they also have a bid bond included. So these will be referred to the engineering department for recommendation.
All right. Do we need a motion to do that just for formality, or is it? Yeah.
I would so move.
Yeah. all right.
Support.
Moved and supported to refer this to engineering for their review and recommendation. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you all very much. All right, moving right along here. Next up, under appointments, I've got quite a few here. So I'm asking for this body's approval for my appointment of Chelsea Detloff and Charlene Dattini to the City Beautiful Commission, Katie Callahan to the Building Code Board of Appeals, Richard Essenmacher to the Traffic Safety Commission, Mark Caldwell to the Planning Commission, and Bill Kaiser to the Building Code Board of Appeals and the Zoning Board of Appeals, all for terms expiring August 1st, 2024. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah,
Yep. Councilwoman Pate?
just real quick, I wanted to say thank you for everybody that applied for these positions. We've been asking for their involvement, and I think we got it. It looks great. Thank you to everybody.
Great. Thank you very much,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilwoman.
do we have any more openings still, or?
Oh, yes.
Does this fill them?
Quite a few,
We have quite
yeah.
a few, right? Okay.
Absolutely, and quite a few different commissions. So again, anyone that's interested, please go to our city website. There's a pretty good updated list, and there's always new ones happening all the time. So even if you don't see any openings listed there, definitely send in your application anyway. We do keep them on file and review them all the time.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Benedetti?
Yes.
Cabawadden?
Yes.
LaFever?
Yes.
Pate?
Yes.
Perugi?
Yes.
Rezeppa?
Abstain.
Von Crooks?
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, next on the agenda, 33rd District Court Technology Quarterly Payment, and I will defer to our delegate, Councilman LaFever.
Thank you, Mayor. Make a motion to receive and place in file the court technology quarterly payment. Shows the city of Trenton receiving a check for $18,158, and then writing checks to the other 6 cities. It turns out that we end up with $2,851.
All right.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much. All right, next up, we have from groups and organizations, and I will defer this to you, Madam Clerk, as well.
Thank you. The Travis Mansion Foundation, Katie Middlestat has been working with Lieutenant Tangway on this run, and they have made the route so that they will not need to close any streets. They'll be utilizing crossing guards. They're looking to hold a 911 Heroes Run. I believe she's going to want this to be an annual run in the future, but they're looking to hold their first run on October 2nd a Saturday, with October 3rd as an alternate date.
So moved.
Support has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Councilwoman Von Crooks?
Yeah, can somebody tell us about this organization, and are they the Trenton local organization, and are the funds going back into any Trenton families?
I'm going to have to, Mike, would you have any more information on this group? I'm sorry, I do not know as far as how many people participating would be local.
Or just, I know that when I read over the literature, it was a company that was not based in Trenton, Michigan, and it was I mean, I know a Trenton person is involved in it, but I don't know if that money is being filtered back into our community, or, what's the story? Does anybody know? And did the Civic Commission approve this, or were they even shown
No,
this?
it would be, this would be pending Civic Commission approval.
Okay, well, that's number one, so the investigation on it wasn't done. I'm all for fundraisers and everything, but I like to know who's in our neighborhoods and where's the money going, and are we, putting this back into the city of Trenton, or, and maybe go ahead.
Oh, I think
Is
we
Katie-
have, okay, this is Katie here. I wasn't sure, it just said Katie's iPhone on here, but say Katie, if you're, if it's okay with
Yeah, that would be
Councilwoman Von
great.
Crooks
I'd
to
love
say,
to
yeah,
hear
Katie,
about
if
it.
you'd like to speak more to the event, that would be wonderful. I apologize, I didn't see you sooner.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt, but thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the organization. It is based out of Pennsylvania. I'm actually a new resident to Trenton and to Michigan altogether, so this is an organization I've been working with for many years, starting back when I lived in New York. So it is an organization to answer your question about whether the money goes back into the Trenton area, long-term, it's something we'd like to get back and be more involved in the community with. We do a lot of character building. We do a lot of things with veterans in the area. So right now, I think as a volunteer with the organization, I'm not one of the actual employees. From my understanding, the money goes back for that charity for some of the programs they do for veterans and their families. A little bit more about the organization itself. I can give you like a quick kind of like blurb that does it better than I do on their
that'd be
website
helpful.
right here. And so it says, Travis Manion Foundation strives to unite and strengthen communities by training, developing, and highlighting the role models that lead them. We develop programs, training, opportunities, and events designed to empower veterans and families of the fallen, and then inspire them to pass on their values to the next generation and the community at large. So it is something very much community involved. Like I said, I've done it before, and it brings people from all over. Like I was in New York, and we were from all over New York together to come to these service projects for whether it was like fixing up cemeteries, planting trees in honor of people, and they do a lot within the school system as well, which is something I would hope to see if we could do together in the future. I'm still fairly fresh to all this, but it's something I believe strongly in and have been involved with for many years. So that's why I wanted to bring it with me all the way to Michigan.
Alrighty. Oop, I don't know what I just hit there. There we go. All right, thank you very much, Katie. Did you have, Councilwoman Von Crooks? I'll let you continue there.
that sounds like a great organization. I just would hope that if she is in Michigan now, that some of that money would be filtered to our veterans in Michigan. And I know there's a lot of VA programs here, and I personally feel strongly about the veterans. I can't see a better cause than the people who have served our country. I'm going to vote for it, but I'm hoping that she's a ambassador for this, and that she can bring this to Trenton and to Michigan so we can do stuff for our own residents.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
That would be great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Councilwoman. So yeah, I guess this will be with the caveat that it's pending Civic Commission approval and under direction of the Police Department as well. So is there any further discussion here? Is it Councilwoman Pate?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I did look it up on a charity rating system, and the charity itself does seem to get a very high rating as far as, what it gives back to the community. versus, its operating expenses and that sort of thing. So it had like a 5-star rating. The only other thing I would say is I did look up the school calendar. It doesn't seem like it conflicts with anything going on at the school, but because of COVID, we haven't had a lot of our events. So I just didn't know or couldn't track or remember if there were any other events. I do remember a Healthy Trenton run or the St. Paul run, and it had a similar pathway, and I was just wondering if that is the timing of this is also at the timing of other events that used to occur before COVID that can't currently. And if she's willing to maybe move it closer to 9/11, or is this just a random date that she wants to keep, year after year, because it's October, but it's for 9/11 Foundation Heroes Run. So I don't know if there was a thing with the dates, or that was my only concern. I didn't want it, if there was a traditional run that always happened at that particular time, that
Sure.
this would usurp that, so.
Yeah, I don't know of any off the top of my head that would sort of conflict with it, and I guess that's hopefully one thing that the Civic Commission can
yeah.
just,
And I'm glad
see if
it's
they've
going
got
to them
anything
to-
there. So yeah,
review
I
that.
don't know the date of their next meeting, unfortunately, on hand, but it's something that I'm sure they'll check in on.
Perfect, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. So thank you very much, Katie. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we've got department heads and officials. We'll start with our city engineer. Petition to combine property, 2513 4th Street and 335 Cherry Street, assessors Trenton Plat, number 3, Brett Logan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the council. We had a petition from Brett Logan to combine 2 parcels of land. You'll see on the map that was attached. Those parcels are identified as 2513 4th Street and 335 Cherry Street. The combined parcel will total 1.126 acres of land. I suggest that the city clerk cause a copy of the resolution to be recorded with the Register of Deeds and forwarded to the assessor in Wayne County. My recommended motion would be concur with the Administrative Site Plan Review Committee and approve the combination of the property to be identified as lot number 305, except the north 41 feet and the west 83 feet thereof of assessors Trenton Plat number 3.
I would so move.
Support.
All right, it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have one late item I see here from our acting administrator. Ordinance number 807, authorizing and permitting adult use marijuana grow and processing establishments, first reading. Mr. Creech, I'll kick it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before you have hopefully the final draft of the marijuana ordinance. There's a couple things to note in there that have changed or been altered slightly since you last saw it. And this has also been reviewed by Planning Commission, and you have their recommendation attached. The 1,000-foot setback for religious institutions was removed, and we discussed this already, but I just wanted to make sure you were clear on it. The setback is not required by law, and it only affects the industrial park. So if you look at your map, the 1,000-foot would only impact the industrial park behind Kirkstra, which is probably one of the more ideal locations for us to have grow and processing anyways. The other items that of note, since I think it's 15 pages long of very exciting reading, is there's a 500-foot setback from residents is clarified on page 14, with a 500-foot setback for residents is included, but striking the reference to licensed daycares. That was never discussed or contemplated by council. The licensed in-home daycare would still fall under the resident area. They would still have the 500-foot, so there's no loss for anybody in there. And then on page 15, item 8, sign restrictions, which were discussed, hopefully is an acceptable language. The goal there was, and you have to understand too, that we don't have a clear and robust sign ordinance through the new zoning, that hasn't been fully completed. So it's an issue that's going to be addressed in the coming months, maybe years, but it'll take some time, I'm sure, to get a zoning. But your wishes are contained in there, where they're restricted to 12-inch lettering on the outside of the building with the address only. It has to be illuminated, and it's exterior illumination only. And the primary entrance door has to be, of course, illuminated also with basically a 12 by 18 signage where they have to have their name and contact phone number included on there. And that's primarily very heavily for police and fire response, so that when they show up to alarms and stuff, that they have an assured way to contact the occupants. Other than that, the ordinance is exactly as you guys viewed it, I think about 3 weeks ago.
All right, and I think one thing I wanted to reiterate too, to anyone at home that might not have followed as closely, but this is solely for grow and processing. This is not for retail sales of any sorts. So yeah, don't worry that you're not going to see, frankly, much any difference at all. This is solely to help us regulate medicinal and recreational grow that's within our boundaries of the state-passed initiatives here. All right, so do we have a motion for that matter?
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. All right. Any further discussion? Councilman
I have
Whatton. Yeah.
2 items, and just as a point of clarification, no pun intended, the illumination component, that is clear or white lighting, Dean? It's not
that's
going
the
to be
intent.
like in
Well,
LED green or anything like that?
right, so the state actually forbids the certain uses of other lights, the neons and everything, while it's not specific in ours. I mean, that's something, if we can find a clear way to make it very specific, we can do that.
Okay. And just so, if we look at item number 8 in the highlighted area, Dean, that first sentence says, business address with exterior illumination only is required and shall not exceed 12 inches in height and shall be affixed to the building and clearly visible from the street, period. No business name, logo, or other symbol is permitted. Next, period. Next sentence. Further, business name, address, and phone number must be displayed. So I read that kind of 2 ways. Is it no business name is to be displayed, or?
The following statement is for the door of the business, I
Just for
believe.
the door, okay.
Yes.
So
And
nothing on the building,
is the
nothing?
address and the street.
Right, okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Clarified.
Thank you for the clarification.
Councilman?
No, I'm all set.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you all very much. All right, next up, we've got our disbursements and statements and then our reports, so I will defer to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Benedetti.
Who spent all this money? Make the motion, make a motion to approve the authorized disbursements dated August 2nd, 2021, in an amount of $1,628,548.53.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
See if you can place on file the following reports: the Board of Review minutes, July 2021, Cultural Commission minutes, June 19th, 2021, Fire and Police Pension Board minutes, May 19th, 2021, Retiree Healthcare Benefits Plan Board minutes, April 21st, 2021, and May 19th, 2021, Zoning Board Public Hearing and Regular Meeting minutes for April 29th, 2021.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
And I also make a motion to hold a closed study session immediately following this regular council meeting for the discussion of litigation.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Whatton,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rizeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Alrighty, we'll go now into other council business here. I had a couple items. I do want to give a recap. Fortunately, I was able to catch the end of it just about 10 minutes before we got started here today. But to update everyone on the Riverview Land Preserve meeting that was held today, the committee did vote to send it back to Riverview to make additional revisions for the proposal. So they, while they could not outright deny their expansion application, their purview was to either approve it or send it back to Riverview. So they did not approve the landfill expansion at the meeting today. So when they come up with those revisions, they'll be required to send out the same notices that they have before. We really don't know what kind of timeline that's going to look like, given, again, it happened all just a few minutes before we sat down here today. But do want to thank, I think at one point we had over 360 folks that were on the Zoom meeting. So to thank everyone who stuck it out for that in what was, almost a 6-hour-long meeting. So I was fortunately able to speak and reiterate the position of all of us here that we have expressed through our opposition, letters, resolution, speaking at the meeting, things like that, and all that we've heard. So we'll certainly keep everyone posted, but as of right now, the expansion has not been granted. And I do want to give a special shout out to Tracy Loger, a Trenton resident who's did so much work in putting together the Facebook group that a lot of the information that's been shared on, along with the event yesterday that they held, and helping get so many of the speakers information and things like that too. So great job there. Couple other shout outs here to give. I do want to give, and I don't want to step on your toes, but want to give Councilwoman Pate a shout out for the grant that she was able to help us secure to bring some more public art to our downtown, so it's very exciting. And again, I don't want to blow the whole cover there, but do want to give a big thank you to all of her work there. It was really awesome and really exciting. Do want to, as it was discussed just a little over a year ago, to give everyone the update that fortunately Amaria Hall, the longtime missing person here in Trenton that we'd heard from her mother at a council meeting before and seen things around town, but has been in contact with the police, has been found here, and all is well on that front. So I do want to give a big shout out to our Trenton Police Department for all their work on this, along with all the other agencies that were involved and really everyone that had a hand and helped making that happen. And then last, two smaller items. Did get a chance to do another ribbon cutting downtown. It was really exciting on Friday with the Vintage Market Mercantile. It's just north of the Roundhouse on West Jefferson. Would encourage everyone to go check it out. It was a very cool shop, and they had a great event. And a lot of great ideas for events and a lot of good things, creative things that are going to help build our downtown. We're really excited to have them. And then lastly, but certainly not least, while I was unfortunately not able to make it this past Saturday, I do want to thank our Trenton firefighters for all they did in putting together the open house for the community. That it was, while normally we get to do the, meet Santa and the Easter Bunny and pancakes at the fire station and different things like that throughout the year, it was good to be able to have that and have that for the community. I know I already saw pictures with people I know with their children climbing on trucks and things like that and getting to see all the ins and outs of what goes on there. So really exciting, and thank you for going above and beyond with that community outreach there. So it's very important for all of us. So that is all I've got for this evening right now. So I will kick it over to the rest of council here, and today we start with Councilman LaFever.
Yeah, I just wondered, Mayor, did we ever hear back how much money the run made at the Midsummer Festival? Did they have the run?
I'd have to defer to you on that one.
No.
I'm not sure. I'll say, Tim, I know you're on the line here. I'm not sure if you had any information on that.
Scrambling for the mute button.
Yeah, he might be having some technical issues, but unfortunately I don't know offhand. That's a good question. But we'll have between Dean and Tim get some additional intel and hopefully relay that to you. So, Dean, you can add that to your to-do list.
Yep.
Mayor, also, tagging along with what Bill said, in the past, we've gotten a report on the, how the festival did and, things like that. So maybe we could
tie that all in together.
Tie it all together and have a final report on, what was brought in, what was expended from our departments, and it'd be nice to know where we're at.
Before that gets here, though. They usually have all the numbers and everything done by.
Right, just preparing them in advance.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think that'll be a good idea. We can have one of our early September meetings, hopefully, then get that title in. But, anything else, Councilman?
Reflect my memory. Are we having the Scarecrow Festival or not?
So that's a good question. I actually just got asked that, I think, last week for the first time, and from both Councilwoman Pate and someone else, a different resident. I said, I haven't heard anything from that, so I'm not sure either Dean or Madam Clerk, have you gotten any sort of applications or permit or anything like that?
I haven't seen anything.
No, I have not received an application so far.
Yeah, so as of right now, have not heard anything. I mean, we'll see what we can do I'd like to do it. It's a knock on wood, hopefully, that we'll be able to, but, yeah. Councilman Pate, I'm sorry.
Just to add, I had mentioned that Ashley of All About Grace was trying to connect with the Scarecrow Festival and having some difficulty. So if, just getting everybody motivated and on board with maybe some of the events that she wanted to do in conjunction with the festival. So she was a little frustrated as well, but hopefully they can come up with something. She wants to do a lot of festivals downtown. So if you're listening, please try and get in touch with her. And that would be great if that could happen. And I know she wants to do a winter festival as well. So,
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea
Okay.
to kind of connect those groups and see what maybe we'll build on there. So that's, two very good questions and two that I don't have the answer to right now. So it's a good start. All right, yeah.
Stump the mayor.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Anything else?
No.
All right, thank you very much, Councilman. Councilman Perugi.
I have nothing tonight.
All right, thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Pate.
Okay, so thank you for mentioning the grant. I wasn't quite ready to say anything yet, but that's okay. There is just a lot of work to do. Sometimes, I apply for grants all the time, these silly grants, I call them, but they're not silly. This is going to be to support business downtown and Trail Town, and it's going to, the hope is that we bring some public art to our downtown. So we won $500, and I had some inspiration for this, but we are meeting with the Downriver Council of the Arts tomorrow, who wants to be a partner with this. So it's very preliminary on what actually is going to get accomplished, and we kind of have to put our heads together. It's kind of like careful what you wish for, because now we have to figure out what it's going to look like. So, and we want to do it well and high quality, and we want to involve the community. So it's very preliminary, and I will bring anything that we come up with to council for your support as soon as we figure out what that eventually will look like. So it's all good though. And thanks to the MML Foundation, it was a neighborhood micro grant. So I applied as a neighbor because first and foremost, I'm a resident of Trenton, but involved in lots of things to help out. And, it didn't help that I was necessarily a council person, because I don't know that they knew that, but now they do. And so we're going to work on that and get things going for public art downtown. And hopefully it'll, bring more. This is just a
Snowball
small
effect.
start. Yes, hopefully. Okay, and then the other thing I wanted to say was that I was at the vigil last year with Mrs. Hall, and I know that she was very upset that she didn't have any communication from her daughter. So at least they are opening that line of communication, and they know that she's safe. And I wish that family the best. They have a long way to go, but I would be happy if I knew, what my kids are well. So I at least hope her heart is healing a little bit tonight. Speaking of hearts, I wanted to mention that I found out today that Ruthanne Brewer passed away. She was my neighbor, but she was very, very active in the Trenton community. She was the former Exchange Club president. She was also a very active member of the New Horizons Senior Club. And they've already posted her arrangements, which will be at the West Road Martinson Funeral Home on Thursday and Friday. So I wish her family and her friends my condolences. And they adopted my kids as their grandkids, so we're really going to miss. They already had moved away, and now that she's gone, it's even, for the long term, it's sad for us, but it's sad for the community for all they did for us. Her husband was Earl Brewer, who also did a lot for the community. So anyway, I also wanted to thank the Vintage Market for having us at their ribbon cutting. It was a lot of fun. There were a ton of people. They had some really neat things. And also the Die Pack Newsies program was going on at kind of the same time. And again, I drove through downtown, and just everything was vibrant and active down there again. So, like I mentioned all about Grace, I think this was the first retail business that kind of came back to the downtown. And snowballing is a great word, that all these other businesses are starting to open. We've got, renovations going on. So if that can continue, that would be great. I also wanted to thank Ryan at the Water Department and the DPW for assisting residents. Last week, there was an issue with the sewer backing up for some reason, and hopefully they'll get some clarity, but they were able to get their items picked up that their basements had flooded in a couple of the homes down on Riverside, and they were very active in getting that solved right away, so thank you for that. And then, let's see, I had one other thing. I did want to thank you, Mayor Rizeppa, for your comments at the FIC Inclusion Committee meeting. You really stated our council's position strongly and clearly, that we were opposed to that expansion. And thank you to residents who were on that call for 5 hours. And I know our residents have been through a lot of long meetings, but they keep telling us what they want and what they expect from us, and that's the best that we can. We need to know those things, that what people want. So thank you for being involved, and keep talking to us. Keep emailing us and letting us know what positions that we should be taking. I do want to say, though, that we did get called out on our recycling in our town, and it continues to be the number one. It was when I was campaigning. It continues to be the number one issue that people, when I see them again, especially after COVID, they ask me, how's recycling coming along? And so I know we had a meeting or two about it, and I think, we've been knocking off a lot of agenda items. We've gotten through zoning, we've gotten through this marijuana ordinance. We're, doing a lot of things in the city. We're very active, and this is still one of those line items that we need to address: our garbage pickup, our recycling efforts. And I know that the transfer station did change their hours, I think now from 8 to 4:30 on the same days that they used to be open. So they've expanded the hours, not the days, but the hours. So hopefully early morning and a little bit later in the afternoon, people can use our recycling services. But whatever we can do to get curbside recycling, I think, is important for our town. And that would be the next long meeting that I think would occur in Trenton. People would talk for hours to us about that. So hopefully we can do something soon. And I hope Councilperson Cabell-Watton, continues to press us on futuring and seeing what our town's going to look like the next few years. So thank you for that. And that is all I have tonight. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Councilwoman. Yeah, just to piggyback off that, that was one silver lining of the meeting, was Wayne County sounded like they were very willing to help us out with that. And so I did send a couple text messages really early on of, hey, it sounds like there might be some recycling money that you're interested in sending this way. So fingers crossed that we can hopefully, take a silver lining out of this as well, in addition to everything else that where we're at so far. All right, thank you very much for that. Councilman Cabell-Watton.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations to Councilwoman Pate, and I think you had some good news within your family within the last week, and so congratulations to you and your family on that. That's very exciting, and hopefully good roads will continue to be paved. Next item, the Garden Club. I do mention this a couple times a year, but, I'm actually mentioning this for my wife. Some of you know my wife's a teacher, and she was teaching summer school this year, and a couple of the ladies from the Garden Club on very short notice were able to meet with her summer school class. She's teaching, I think, very young, elementary school kids, and they took them all around the farm over there at the Cultural Center and into the barn, and they came home with like a little packet of like butterfly, some craft or something like that they could do, and it was on very short notice. Anyways, my wife was very touched by that. She's like, I have to write a letter. I said, well, come down to city council and let everybody know. Unfortunately, there was a t-ball game tonight, so I drew the city council straw, and she drew t-ball straw tonight. So I thought I would mention that on Melissa's behalf. So again, thank you to those folks that, not only with the Garden Club and the Cultural Center, but also those folks that go out there and volunteer and spend their time helping the community, especially those folks that stepped up tonight. And as the mayor mentioned, there's still some more opportunities there to get involved. So if you're not involved right now, please be involved. We need your help. We need your impact. We need your thoughts and ideas too. Taking me over to Mr. Beaker. Again, wanted to thank the Parks and Recreation Department, not only for all the programs that we offer. We offer quite a bit through the Parks and Recreation Department, but, and I say this because Connor just finished up his second segment of hockey, which is going to be an expensive sport, but he likes it, so cool. But also, tonight I came home, or I came out of my basement because I've been working at home all day, and there was a ton of people out on the street for the farmers market today. So that's just I always enjoy people using the cultural center. It's just really cool to see an asset like that we have in the community that gets used so much. So I would have never guessed had I lived near that facility. But that's really cool. So thank you, Tim, and your team for doing all the great things you do. Also, thank you to the Trenton Fire Department and the Trenton Firefighter Charities. Rick, did I get that right? It's okay. Okay, I just didn't want to slaughter anything. Like the mayor mentioned, they had an open house on Saturday, and Connor loved it. He got to play on fire trucks, and he got Cheetos and a hot dog, a T-shirt, and because if you go somewhere, you got to get the T-shirt, right? And so he got the T-shirt, and he also had some ice cream. So no, great. It was just really fun. Great outing for the kids and everybody involved. So thank you very much to those over at the fire department for all your efforts there. And again, Councilwoman Payton and the mayor mentioned Vintage Market. Again, it's really, that's the fun part of the job. That's like one of the really fun parts of the job is being able to go to these open houses or these ribbon cuttings. So it's good to see things more business coming into town and a little bit more liveliness. So it's fun. And one kind of last thing for the mayor, just going to quick reminder, futuring sessions.
Yes, still trying to get a scheduling thing figured out.
Because as Councilwoman Pate mentioned, and I had it on my list too, Wendy, you just, you're. I
had to remind you.
If we ever go counterclockwise or clockwise, you're in trouble, so.
We had some staggered vacations that we're trying to meet around, but hopefully we'll have something, at least this month. I don't know that it'll, likely won't actually be before the next meeting, but at some point in this month here.
But I agree, I think, it's, I think it's time we seriously look at recycling. I mean, we've got some, recycling's not free. There's a definite cost associated with it. But, I think we have to figure that out. How do we get to that? There's some grants out there. I've talked to Dean about a couple of them. Some of them are applicable, some of them are not. But, I think if we throw enough gum at the wall at some point, something's going to stick and we're going to be able to move forward. Gum, yeah.
Gum, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we do really kind of need to rethink our recycling, and as families move into town, they're looking for that. They're coming from other areas that have it, and I think we really need to provide it. And we've got to think about Solutia, the repurposing of some of these properties, and some other things too. Oh, and one other thing, Mr. Mayor, if we can put on that list. Looking at adding another flagpole out front or two. I had a sidebar conversation with one of the gentlemen that was here last time that really expressed some concern about that. And I think there's probably a way we could put up another flagpole and make all parties probably happy by not only celebrating, different themes or months or whatnot, but also, putting some respect to those that have served and feel very, I guess we're just a little put off by the way that flag, and there was another flag attached to the American flag, and I think we also need to be respectful of that as well. So try to make everybody happy if we can.
Well, that was famous last words there.
Yeah, I realize.
No, yeah, but
Get out of
in
your
summary,
park
yeah,
closet.
absolutely. We've already talked about it administratively, and I don't think that's going to be a problem
Okay.
at all.
Great. Cool. And that's all I have. Sorry.
No
Long-winded
problem at all.
tonight.
Thank you very much, Councilman. We'll go right on to Councilwoman Von Crooks.
Yeah, well, I think everything's been said. No, I really have a lot of respect for the mayor and the council for what they've done regarding the Riverview landfill. I don't think we had any difference of opinion that we did in 2017. It's just, I think, we keep having to go back to this wall here, and I think the residents got to speak again, and that's great, and that's who elects us to speak for them. So we've been sending letters all along in the opposition. This is not new, and we've done it the last 4 years ago when, in 2017, there was the same issues, and none of them have been corrected, really, basically, to our standards, to what we want for our residents. So that's what I care about, and I think we're moving forward with that. Lots going on. I was so glad for the Hall family, that their daughter's safe and sound. We passed out flyers in the salon. We did different things to make people aware, and I'm so glad that their family's, whole again. A lot of different things going on. The vintage market, I didn't get to go to the ribbon cutting. I was at work, and God knows I, preached for years to get her to come to Trenton and to be in our, instead of a scarecrow festival, whatever, come and do a vintage market thing like they have all over, Metro Detroit. They're very, very popular. All About Grace is popular. And I think between the two of them, what an addition to Trenton and what an addition to our downtown, and it makes it alive again. And I'd love to see them get involved in the Scarecrow Festival and do a sale like that, like they wanted to do quite a few years ago, but we just couldn't make it work with financially. But now that they're all here and they're taxpayers, and I think they're going to do a great job for our downtown. That's about all with that. Recycling, we've kicked that can down the road a million times. Yeah, it'd be great to have curbside recycling, and I'm all for it, and I was all for it many, many years ago, and the numbers just didn't work. But it is why people, move to Trenton, and they think, well, we have it in other cities. So I think at times we need to maybe readdress that and look at curbside versus just having the transfer station. So definitely we need to look and see if the numbers work and see how we can make it work for our families. Other than that, everything's been said, and I'll pass it on to Councilman Benedetti.
Great. Thank you very, very much, Councilwoman.
Thanks.
Lastly, Councilman Benedetti.
Geez, what is there that I can talk about?
Nothing.
But guess what?
Oh, guess.
So yeah, first off, I'd like to welcome Angie and Rena to town with the Vintage Market. I think it was great. They did an amazing job in that building. I was fortunate enough to go through it when I first took it over, and it is really different than when they bought it or started running it. So great job there, and they did a great job bringing everything up to make it so that we passed city inspection. It was nice to see all the businesses out behind them too. They bring the the little vendors that that can't afford to open a business, but they had the lemonade guy, the popcorn guy, the flower person. Those are the people that make it, but they can't afford to be in one specific spot, and I think that's great. They included all of them. So welcome to them. One of the things that was brought up, though, and I don't know if it's Dean or if you got to get Mr. Wagner involved as the economic development guy or whatever, but there are a lot of empty or not used storefronts downtown, and are these people that own them, are they seeking rentals? Are they seeking businesses to come in there? That's what we got to find out. If they've got somebody in there that's 1 or 2 days a week and somebody wants to be in there full time, I don't know how we can get all of these people together, because they're right. All About Grace, the Vintage Market, these different places, they've got ideas to bring other vendors in here, and we need to figure out how to fill some of those. And if we have to work with the owners and try to get through some stuff, then I think we have to do that, because there are some empty ones. That would be great with other businesses in them like that. Get more people down here. I will say that people were very talkative lately about the social district. They think it's a great idea, so congratulations for getting that done so fast, Dean. Took advantage of it on Friday at the opening, and it was cool. It was nice. Some people there didn't know we had that, so it made it nice for them to be able to do that. So good job there. As far as recycling goes, look, We keep talking about it and talking about it. Now we got called out on it today. So I still think we have to do something. You're right, we get all these new residents in here, the younger people are moving in, even the older people. I go down there and take mine, and look, it doesn't matter what age you are, a lot of these people are recycling, so we need to pick a time and discuss it. I don't know. I know, how long has it been now? 8 years since it was put before the council?
About 6, yeah.
Okay, I know as well I was still working, but I remember that it was a package deal, you had to do it, or there's no way to do it and all that, and I just don't know if that's true anymore. Or, look, maybe it's something we need to look at, because thank goodness it wasn't one of our council people's involvement, but I read an article that GFL's having problems finding employees, so guess what? Some of their residents or some of their clients aren't getting their stuff picked up. Look, if we're doing it, we know it's getting done. That's, we all sit here and talk about, this is why you come to Trenton, you come to Trenton, you come to Trenton, because of the services that we need to offer all of them. So, I don't know. Look, if we have to charge the residents for it, I don't think there's going to be a big problem with it. I can tell you I would do it. So it'll save me from going down there and having to do it on my days off. But we need to sit down and have another meeting about it. I don't know if we want to sit and pick a day today, or we want to pick a day in September when everybody's back from vacation, school's open, but we need to revisit it and bring some numbers in of what it's going to cost us, even if we do it.
Yeah, I think that's totally fine. I'd probably hesitate to pick a day now just to make sure that we can to make it worthwhile and have it.
Well, yeah, I know Kevin's going to have to do some groundwork and look up some stuff and even reach out to some of these companies that have it now. And I don't know if Scott can help us with that or whatever, but, what is the ballpark cost? Huh?
He knows at least one company that would.
Yeah. Maybe we can get
I know somebody.
Maybe he can get us a deal, right?
All right.
Might be able to give some ballpark ideas.
But yeah, so I think that's something we need to talk about, and we need to keep moving on it. I know it died off for a while, but I think it's still there, and I think there's more residents now that realize that it's something we need to do. If we're going to sit and tell people that you can't throw garbage in the hill and bury it, then we need to make an effort to let them recycle it. So we need to get moving on that. Lastly, yes, I did not get to go to the fire station this weekend. I was out of town, but I can guarantee you it was a great event, because they're always a great event. Those guys, the police department included, but the fire department, they always put on the best events down there, and they make sure everybody have fun, and they always make sure the kids go home with lots of sugar in them to get the parents all hyped up on it. Right?
They did a great job of that.
Besides that, I got nothing else.
All right, thank you very, very much, Councilman, appreciate it. All right, we'll go to our other elected officials now, and we'll start with you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. I'd like to just mention our next regular council meeting is on Monday, August 16th at 7 p.m.
Thank you very much. Next up, our assessor, Joni Burnett. All right, thank you. We'll go over to our, from our treasurer's department, Ms. Cooper.
Yeah, so I just wanted to clear up some confusion. We've had some residents coming in earlier today and last week looking to purchase tickets for the Taste of Downriver, which is actually an event put on by the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber. So the City of Trenton, the Treasurer's Office, is not selling tickets for this event. On their website, it does say that I think the day of, which the event is being held on August 10th, next Tuesday, that tickets can be purchased out in front of City Hall. So they'll probably have a booth or something that somebody there will be, selling those tickets. But the Treasurer's Office is not selling them, so we apologize. We didn't know anything about the event, but we cannot help you. So the Chamber's website is www.swcrc.com. And anybody interested could go there to purchase tickets or for more information. That's it.
Thank you very much, we appreciate that. All righty. Oops, don't want to mute myself. Okay, next up we have our department heads. Are there any department heads wishing to speak? We'll do anyone in person first, and we'll do Zoom second. So, Dean will allow it.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, Council, just a couple of things that were brought up in the comments to let you know where things are at. The flagpole issue has been discussed. We're going to work on it, but I spoke with the city engineer and stuff, and this was before the bid opening, of course, to fix the steps, and we've discussed the possibility of investing some money in taking care of a package of things that we can make things right with. The retaining wall out front is in disrepair, and we're having some challenges repairing it. The MSU committee brought back that they felt we should have a patio type area. What do you call it? Well, they didn't call it a pavilion, they had a fancy word for it. But it was a covered area or whatever where you can have a social, huh?
Pergola?
Pergola, yeah.
Yeah.
I told you it's a fancy word, man.
Stuck with me, yeah.
Yeah. So, we're going to try to piece it together so we don't do anything redundant and come back. But none of it's going to be cheap. I mean, it's an investment in the building. It's an investment in part of the downtown. It's part of the DDA and everything. So it is being worked on. So kind of stay tuned for that. The recycling also has been worked on, but and I'm glad to hear that the residents would be happy to pay for it, because that has been, the finances of it has been difficult. I reached out to Riverview months ago and asked them if they would be interested in going in together. Because of the size of the communities, there could be some benefits. One of the grant opportunities out there, you can go and you can get a recycling truck. Recycling truck is $300,000. But a recycling truck probably could cover more than one community. The totes, for us to invest in totes, $300,000. I mean, these are huge carve-outs. We only have, I think, about $300,000 or $400,000 available under the maximum for refuse collection. I think we can 2.8 mils or something like that. Anyways, so those are things being looked at, but just be prepared for a revisiting of some sticker shock. We have the ability to put it all together, but to add another DPS full-timer, if we wanted to do it all in-house, because it's not feasible unless we sub all the garbage out. That's about $76,000 with benefits and everything out the door that we would have to spend in that neighborhood. So I'm not saying it's not doable, but it is something to put on your list of money we're gonna send out. And then the last thing, I would appreciate from my standpoint, if council as a whole, or even individually, would really think about futuring from the standpoint of what they actually want out of it. What is going to be the guidance? What is going to be the mission of the futuring? Because the mayor and I have met with a couple individuals who went down the futuring road a few years ago, but the difficulty is some of the stuff that y'all have brought up doesn't really mesh with maybe the same direction that a few people from the public. And you guys know, you put me on a mission, I'll stumble through it, I'll get it done. But I would like you to think about what you actually want to accomplish with the futuring. I think it's a great idea and a great plan, but I need to know what result, and I'll chart a path. And the mayor and I have talked about it a number of times. It's been, I don't know, dozens and dozens of emails. So if you would think about that, and maybe even next council meeting, if between now and then, if you could see what your vision is for it, I would appreciate it. It would help me to help you. Yeah. So that's all.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Any other department heads? Oh, Dennis, Mr. Jigash. And if there's any on Zoom wishing to speak, if you want to do the raise hand thing now and get yourself prepared, we can call on you when needed. Okay.
Councilwoman Pate, you mentioned something about the houses that experience some basement issues. What happened was there's a sanitary manhole at Truax and West Jefferson. Where the pipe connects to the manhole, the joint there failed. And so over time, a bunch of material had washed into the pipe and plugged it up. At least that's discussing it with Ryan Brad, and his guys are out there and did a very good job of alleviating that issue. But we're looking at how to repair that permanently. Right now, it's just kind of patched, but we do have to take some further steps to make that a permanent fix. So I just thought you'd like to know what it was that caused the problem.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. We appreciate that. Okay. All right. Any other department heads wishing to speak? Yeah, nothing over there. Nothing on Zoom. We'll go into public comment now, and we'll do in-person first, and then we'll go to Zoom. But for anyone wishing to speak, as on Zoom, for those that may not know, if you go to participants or reactions, depending on the software that you're using, and then click the raise hand button, it'll get you queued up. But we'd ask that you begin with your name and address, that you direct all questions through me, and that you limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. So we'll get started here with Mr. Mills.
Lawrence Mills, 1940 Riverside Drive. 3 things that I want to inquire about tonight. First is the sewage backup, second is McLeod Steel, and the third is Riverside Drive, my favorite subject. With respect to the sewage backup, I think we're well on our way to getting the problem fixed in our home. There were, as I understand it, 2 other homes that their basements were flooded. Shortly after that occurred, I realized that somewhere down the road, where either my wife or I or our heirs decide to sell our home, we're going to have to report that water in our basement on the forms that you have to fill out when you want to sell a piece of property. So I'm asking the city at this point to provide us with written documentation as to the cause of the problem and the actions that were taken to fix it. I now understand that there have only been temporary measures, so somewhere down the road, we need to be informed of the permanent corrective actions that were taken. So I'm making that request at the present time.
Yeah, it's that's something that I'll be totally honest, I have no experience in so far, but I'm sure that that's something that we'll be able to make happen for you in short order for you if need be. Hopefully, not needing anytime soon, but yeah.
Second thing, McLeod Steel. I hear a lot of noise, but I don't know what's going on. So if you could tell us what's going on.
Do you want to give the most, probably got the most recent update here too, saying it's the last stages of their skull cutting, I believe here.
Yep, that's pretty much it. They were supposed to start their skull cutting last Wednesday, but they have some restrictions where if the wind's over 10 miles per hour or something like that, they won't do it. That's supposed to continue on for about 3 weeks. And then they are ready for their final report to the EPA to close everything out. They're getting the last of the millings in to fill the areas that they have to fill, is one of the things they've been waiting on, just because the road construction was running behind. And according to Mr. Dennis Shribus, they're already working on marketing the property for whatever purpose in developing it.
Do we know what they're...
No.
Not yet, huh?
No.
Okay.
I mean, everybody has, the guesses, the theories, and everything, but no, I mean, they haven't disclosed anything to me or to the city, even in an unofficial, off the record. They're holding their cards kind of close. I do know that, they have more than exceeded what they agreed to do cleanup-wise, and they have the better side of $25 million into the property on the cleanup part, but where they're going to land with what they're going to do, we don't know.
Okay. Third question, what's the latest with respect to Riverside Hospital? I see a lot of trucks driving around. I don't know what they're doing, but there have been a lot of trucks, and so there must be something going on.
So
I'll
I can't
defer to you too on the most
I can't say,
legal cover I can get, but
Yeah, I don't want to say too much just because it is in litigation. We have a receiver, as you are aware, and he's doing a great job, Mr. Stoddard. Ms. Turkia Mullins is the Dr. Nasir's representative, and they are working on a proposal that could, might, should come to the forefront and actually occur. Our number one goal, of course, is blight removal, which means demolition of the property. So we're working from that starting point. We did have a hearing today with the judge, and I thought it went well. And I think over the coming 60 days, there's going to be a fair amount more to report. And the way it looks right now, most of it's really good.
Okay, thank you.
thank you very much, Mr. Mills. Thank you.
Hi. My name's Tim Klotz. I live on Riverside Drive across from Larry and Linda here. Yeah, I just want to make sure, first of all, we understand with the flooding, it didn't happen in my basement, thankfully. I did help them and some other neighbors, that we understand the randomized pattern. It was 2 houses at the north end and a house down at the south end of the street. Some people don't have a basement, so I guess that explains that, but we just got to make sure we understand why that happened. Sounds like people are looking into it, and that's good. One of my neighbors had their air handler blow up on them, $3,400. So that was 10 inches of water in the basement. I guess on recycling, I'll just say, you know, I didn't expect to comment on that, but a lot of discussion. Before I moved here, I lived in Plymouth Township. I had taxes on my house about half what they are here, tax rate about half. We had curbside recycling every week, so I have no idea why we don't have it here in Trenton. It should be happening for as much as we pay in taxes. And I'm glad to see people are moving on. The hospital, of course, it's been going on 15 years. I'll point out Ann Arbor Road and Haggerty in Plymouth Township. Reason I mentioned that, 8 acres, one of the original Kmart's was knocked down. It's being redeveloped after 18 months. So it can happen. We can get these things done. I don't know how, but we got to get it done. So I'm supportive. I'm hopeful that we get some of the blight, all the blight, out of here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Alrighty, we'll go over to Zoom here, and then now we've got Ms. Hornbeck.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, hi. I originally came to the meeting to thank you, Mayor Zeppo, for your comments today at the inclusion meeting. I think you spoke to what every Trent president was hoping you would say, and it was really good to hear you have those comments. But I stayed to hear the recycling conversation. If people were interested, I still have all the surveys that we received back when we did a curbside recycling survey that said the majority of residents want curbside recycling, and the majority of those people were willing to pay an additional cost for it. I have those in storage. If there is ever another committee, I would be happy to be a part of that. I'm looking forward to more discussions about curbside recycling. That's all I got. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very, very much, Ms. Hornbeck. I certainly appreciate that. And that may actually be something, as that obviously that committee was put together before I was in this seat, that I think that, yeah, some of that information would actually be really helpful to see. So if by any chance you're able to bring that by, and even if I'm not around, but get it to administration, that could be very helpful. So I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, last call for public comment here. Seeing no more throughout here, and nothing on the Zoom here. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we will adjourn at 8:07. Unanimously so ordered.
Reconvene in a half hour.
Huh?
We can